Look at that. Mama D with her
Hello.
gorgeous,
All hair.
gorgeous,
Hello, people.
lovely locks. And I, at first, was not happy with you saying you were going to cut off those gorgeous locks. Now look at what you got.
Yep. But it's
And
still
this is
not
what
as long. It doesn't get down to where it was. It was down past the camera.
right.
But it's getting there. I can
I
actually curl it now ish.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. Nice
Okay.
and full, because I mean, otherwise it would be like this.
Yeah. Well, I got a natural curl, so I have to lodge a complaint to all of our followers out there. The person who's supposed to be starting my GoFundMe account to get me a new computer system is like, I don't see enough. And to get what is it, fiber optics into my house. It's like, okay, yes, I know it has to come into my street first, but what can I say?
But tonight we got a really cool guest waiting for us, Kathleen. Now we're going to be talking about crystals. So like we're all loaded up with all kinds of crystals. We're going to be talking about everything. Yeah, I got a pile of crystals over here, and she's got her book down there, and we're just going to answer a whole bunch of questions. So if you guys got questions about crystals, this is the show.
Yep.
Plus we have Athena coming on in our midsection. She's going to be talking about amethyst, which is
my favorite.
Our background. Yeah, we love amethyst. So what I will do now, like I always do, is I will play.
Oh, Eric made it. He stayed awake. Yay!
All right, we're going to play the bio video that will tell you a little bit about Kathryn, and then she'll be with us as soon as it ends.
Good evening, I am Gina B, and the place to be is here with me and Mama D every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here in the Fox Den. Tonight we welcome Kathryn Hudson. She is an author, speaker, Reiki master, certified angel therapy and crystal healing practitioner and teacher. A Bronx native and a graduate of Georgetown School of Foreign Service, a former international banker, Kathryn transformed her life from that of a harried Wall Street banker to an international writer, teacher, and spiritual director. Her transformation began when an angel walked into the bank where she was working to hand her a crystal and a message that would change everything. Now in her home in Paris or in the U.S. or elsewhere in the world, Kathryn pays it forward every day through her books, classes, and individual sessions, both online and live. Tonight the focus will be on her book, Discover Your Crystal Family, Working with Stones and Their Angelic Messengers. And we welcome you to the Fox Den, Kathryn.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, we are so excited to have you on here. We love our crystals. We really do. And hi, everybody that's in the chat room so far. Joni's
going Bronx. Yay!
I know. Another New York. Hello.
Okay, that brings up my first question. Okay, let's not have the smart ass answer I had earlier. How did you go from living in the Bronx, New York, to wanting to live in Paris, France?
Since I was a little girl in the Bronx, I had it in me that's where I wanted to live. Now there weren't French people there. It was an Irish neighborhood, Italian neighborhood, everything. There was no French population, but it was just somehow in me. So what I would say now, in retrospect, it's very clear, is that that's what was seeded within me. And my next book that's coming out, which I talk about soul mission and how we're seeded with the desires that will propel us in the direction of our destiny or our highest purpose. Whether or not we go there, we have a choice. Certainly people thought I was a little wackadoodle, for leaving the United States. But it was absolutely, there was almost no choice about it. When something is destined for us, it's like obvious. Oh, okay. The bank offered me that position. That's where I'm going. I didn't even think twice about it. But that's actually why I became a banker. I tried to figure out how I could get myself to France. And that's the solution I came up with.
Okay, so it was the job that transferred you out there.
Absolutely. I was sent over as an expat to open up a subsidiary. I'm thinking in French. That's crazy. A subsidiary.
Right. If you should start talking French, people, let's lodge a complaint, okay? Because they speak
Yeah, but
French,
Paris French and Quebec French, totally different.
Very, very different. When I was first in France, there was a television program that was Canadian, and they actually put subtitles on.
They put French subtitles on a French show?
That's a little
Oh,
extreme.
yeah. But yeah, and the thing is, there's as many different accents in France as there is in Quebec, depending on the region you come from. And I don't know what region it is in Quebec, in France, but there is one accent that even when the person is being super nice, super sweet, super adorable, they sound like they got to pull up their butt sideways. I'm sorry. But we have that in Quebec too. But I have quite a few when I used to work at a convenience store. I had quite a few people who came from our area who came from that. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh, I'm so sweet and adorable. But I swear I don't like your accent because it sounds like you're talking down to me. Because no, I'm not. I'm talking very nice. It's like, yeah, speak English.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Reeling us back in.
Well, that's another thing we do here. We have shiny moments that the squirrel takes over. Doesn't Gina have the squirrel handy? Mm-hmm.
I have a small one.
Yeah, she had one. She put one on her head the other day when I said she's making faces at me. There she goes. There you go.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, tits.
So the squirrel pops up. It's time to reel it back in. But but in the bio video that I just played for you, hey,
it's a fox.
Oh my goodness!
It's my stress toy.
Well, look at it. See, I am channeling tonight my inner Mama D with a turquoise butterfly necklace, and I also have on my turquoise fox necklace.
Gorgeous.
So, this was a gift to me. And this turquoise butterfly I've had for years and years and years. And look at, they just so happen to fit
We'll get there.
And so I'm channeling Mama D with me. And then when I do finally meet her in person, even all these years I've known
it's
her,
mine.
it's hers.
That story, you ain't never getting my fox. It's the only fox I got.
Aww.
Well,
I give you one of my foxtails, but not my fox.
Rumor has it, I have enough foxes.
Aha.
Yeah, I swear to God, if she counts them all, the Guinness World Book of Records is going to go to her house and be like, oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the fox is done.
I was looking for my fox obsidian because I have a fox obsidian necklace that I wear when I go on, like ghost hunting and whatnot for protection. And I can't find it. So I think it must be packed with my stuff, with my stuff. But
so cool. Now I thought the foxes were just you two ladies, but now I get it. They're actual foxes.
She's good.
The fox. Well, the fox is my spirit guide, and the butterfly is hers. So
beautiful.
That's what we're all about. And then we have our crystal lady, that already.
Mm-hmm.
You were on her show. Yes, you were.
Yes. Yeah.
Gina is wonderful. So we'll be having her on in mid-show. But now circling back to my question. Why don't you tell this story about what I was talking about in the bio video about the person giving you the crystal and the message and how that all came to be?
Yeah.
I loved reading it. It was just priceless in the book.
It was if we had these moments that mark and change the trajectory, it was definitely the first one sending me in the proper space. Not that I took it that way that day. So when you're doing a job that you don't really love and you're Irish and you grew up in the Bronx, sometimes you go out at night after work and have fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, of course. Right. Yeah.
And
not that we haven't been there and done that.
No, it was probably just me. But
it was just a dream.
So, and if you do that to extreme, and in New York those days, I mean, everything stayed open till 4 a.m. I mean, do you always make it to work on time? Do you always make it to work? So I was actually given a warning they wanted to keep me because when I was there, I was very good at my job. But they said, okay, we're going to put you in a branch. And for 3 months, you have to be there on time every day. And then if you do that, straighten your act up, you can come back. So,
Okay, you can use the A word.
Okay. But so the night before I had been out, I was seriously hungover, but I had no choice. So I was on the subway. I'm like, okay, I know I'll go in, but I just won't work. That is to say, I'll hide from customers. So I was in a branch across the street from Grand Central Station, smack dab in the middle of Manhattan. And every time I wasn't at the tellers, I was back where, there were tellers back then. The banks were different. I was back in the area where we were opening accounts or straightening out problems, blah, blah, blah. Right. And every time a customer bypassed the tellers, I knew they were coming to us. So I would go hide, basically, is what I would do. It's awful. I admit it, but I think it's kind of funny now. But seriously, I was trying to dodge.
I was laughing. I was laughing when I was reading it. Really
my goodness. But, and I think we've all seen people like this that really don't want to help us in a place. Well, I was that person that day. So there's this woman. She comes and she's headed this way. There were my 2 colleagues that were very nice and not hungover and vying for customers were already, hello, can I help you? And I'm like, great, this is going to work fine. I got up from my chair and I turned my back and pulled out the lower drawer of a credenza. Now I bet they don't even do files by paper anymore. But anyway, I was looking for something very important. And I figured I took care of that. She's not going to bother me. This woman will go to one of those 2 very pleasant people that want to help her. She did not go to them. She came directly to my desk. You know how you can feel somebody who's looking at you? That clairsentience. It's one of our gifts.
Oh, yeah.
Gift. And I could feel her. And I'm like, well, I got a little Bronx in my head. I'm like, I don't think so. So I started actually making noises like an animal would do chasing off a predator in the forest. So I'm like, damn it, shit. I say that, et cetera. So I'm making these noises, figuring she would go over to the nice people that were. What she did was not that.
Away from the crazy lady.
Well, that's exactly. I figured that should work, right? She sat down at my desk to wait for me. And then I was like, you got to respect the cojones honor. Where I come from, when you stand up for yourself, that's something that you respect. So I'm like, okay, power to her. I have to do this, but I don't have to be nice about it. I swear, in my defense, I was a very different person. It was before a lot of
in the partying days, I was too. We all were.
Yeah, but so then you understand. So I turned and I extended my hand. This is how you greet. Yeah, welcome to the bank. I'm Kathryn Hudson. How may I help you? And with a fake smile and eyes that were like, and you're pissing me off. And what happened in that moment changed everything. She did not take my hand. She said, no, I'm here to help you. And she placed in my hand this amethyst, saying, this will help you with your addictions.
Right? Now, how would this,
I was quick with the comebacks. You grow up in the Bronx, you're quick with the comebacks. I think it's the first time I had nothing. And I'm looking at the thing. And my head is whirling, trying to come up with what's going on here, trying to make sense of it. And then finally, ding, she's trying to sell it to me. So I lifted my head to say, excuse me, ma'am, we're serious business here. She was already at the door. So someone I never saw before, never saw after, came into a bank in the middle of Manhattan specifically to deliver this crystal to me. With that message.
Now, when you described her, she sounded like someone that me and Chris knew, a woman that does all that crystal stuff. We have on the show so many times, and I can't pick up her name.
Oh, really?
But yeah, she sounds like her, and I want to find out. I want to ask her. But once I finally remember her name, I'll have to ask Chris.
Well, that would be great. Not secretly, I'm hoping, since my books have started to come out in English, I'm hoping that person maybe stumbles on it.
Come forward and say, hey, that was me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be nice. Either it's a person that received direct guidance, or it was my guardian angel that just got tired of waiting for me. But
Right.
one
my
way or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so hi Rich. Oh my goodness. How are you? It's so amazing how people, places, and things will come into your life
Absolutely.
just at the time you need them most. And they could be tiny little things that you really gotta what's that? And then
Subtle.
the huge ones that are like, okay, I get the message. I get it. Right.
Yeah.
So that was one of those moments. That was a big turning point. So now, how did you go, like when you finally started getting it and getting, the power of the crystal and getting more into crystals? Like what happened next?
Yeah. So as you can imagine, this did not shift overnight. I was more freaked out by this experience than anything else. But interestingly, things did start to shift pretty quickly. I got a job offer in another city, taking me out of the context that was kind of unhealthy, the way I was spending my spare time. So I was taken out of the context, moved to Philadelphia, and there, it was very, very cool town. And there put into a context where I was working with French companies. So I got to revive my French. And eventually they sent me over to France, which was the dream from the beginning. So as these things began to happen, certain crutches were falling away. And I wasn't quite there yet, though. It was when I got to France that I, by accident, started meeting people, and a book fell off a shelf in an airport, and it was a book of Doreen Virtues. I went to Hawaii. I trained as an angel therapy practitioner, went there completely cynical, and came back not so much. But during the break, one day I was like, I got to get out of here. This is tripping me out. And I went into a local crystal store. It's still there, Kona Rock and Minerals, and Loretta still runs it. And I walked in, just curious. I love pretty rocks, and I of course, this one was in the back of my mind. And everything was lovely. And then bull in a china shop, I back into this one display, nearly knock it over, and just happened to grab this one crystal that was falling. It was a chloride phantom crystal, pretty hefty. Grab it. The thought crossed my mind, that might be the ugliest crystal in the shop. But I grabbed it. It's in my hands. And I started crying. Like sobbing, crying. Now, where I grew up, you don't do that. There's no sobbing. There's no crying.
Especially not in public.
No, definitely not. So, of course, I look around. There's nobody there but the owner, this Loretta, who looked at me with great compassion and understanding and said, I think you're going home with that crystal. And then she showed me the Book of Stones, which is, I just love that particular crystal book. There are so many good ones. And then I learned that chloride phantom crystal is excellent for spiritual growth. And then everything started moving into alignment from there. So that began. This is the crystal that came to look for me. Right. I would say that chloride phantom did as well, but after that, I was hooked. I became the rock hound that I am today. All the books in my crystal book, they're at my apartment in Paris, which is kind of like a grotto. You walk in, it's like geodes almost as tall as me. I bought them, and like nobody puts that in their living room. I said, I don't care. I don't care.
It's like that's because you're not nobody, you're somebody, and that's where that works.
And everyone's unique. But yeah, so it kind of moved slowly at first, and then there was a lot of momentum. And of course now, I teach people basically what's in the book is what I put into my workshop that I've taught in Europe and in the States and even in Southeast Asia. So yeah, fun stuff.
So that book that's right next to her, the Crystal Family book right there. Let me put up the books here.
It's that one.
Yeah, right next to it. She pointed the right direction too.
The second time.
So these books right here. We had just showed her too. This is her new book, Discover Your Soul Mission, and she didn't even see the book cover yet. So
yeah, that's coming out in October.
Yeah. So I found it before she did.
Very exciting. Yeah, that doesn't seem right somehow. But then again, it seems quite appropriate that it happened in the fox's den.
Right.
Yeah. I like it.
Absolutely. But that's what we're talking about now. The book, the way that it's set up. Now you have your stories about how you got started and everything.
Yeah.
But it's like you put in the crystal, what angel it goes with, all the different archangels, what chakra it relates to, and everything. It's really well written. It's really well thought out. It's
Thank you.
really interesting. I love the way you put it together. And I have to say, because I have the PDF. I love to have the book in hand because otherwise,
I'm going to have to mail it to you.
But I printed this one out because this is hilarious to me. Now you have Danberite here.
Yes.
Right? I think this is the one and only good thing that's ever come out of Danbury.
I don't know if Danbury is listening.
I got to drive to my family up in Massachusetts, and I dread hitting that Danbury freaking line because it's like you're free and clear on the highway. You hit Danbury, and it's like God or someone, not God, someone.
Shopping centers
drops 900 people on the road right in front of you. It's like you just drive into this traffic. I don't know where it comes from, how it gets there to go from no traffic to there, to Danbury traffic. So when I was reading this and all the wonderful things that Danbury does, and this, and the chakras and the archangel and, everything that goes with it, fairy stones, everything that you put in here about it, I'm like, well, okay. So Danbury has one redeeming characteristic. And I found
Okay.
it.
I'm sorry, but we're gonna have to get. I'm taking a book out of the stirring the pot guys. We're gonna have to get our checkbook out for Denver, Connecticut, because they're gonna be complaining about this stuff. There's probably a couple of other good things that come out of it, but
well, maybe
all those good people from Danbury. The cars that come on are all just shopping in Danbury. The Danburites themselves are wonderful.
They can't be the ones that live there. The ones that live there are smart enough to stay away from there. But us, we have to go through there to get anywhere.
I didn't say that.
Okay, so Colette has a question. She says, "Can you explain the Super 7 one? I was sent one."
So the Super 7 stone is one of a series of stones that came out. When I say more recently, I'm talking about they became popular in the last 30 years or so. And a Super 7 is a mixture of 7 different stones that in those particular ratios carry with it multi-dimensional power. So for people who are ready to work with them, they will work both on the physical level, the normal human level, physical, mental, emotional, and energetic, but also interdimensional. So now we're talking about the soul in all of its iterations. So and I talk about this in my book, if a stone comes to us, whether or not we know its purpose, it's coming to us for a reason. And either we're curious and attracted to it, so it's the right time to start to work with it, or no, not really so much. If we're feeling like, well, no, I don't really feel it so much, just put it aside because it's there for a reason, absolutely, and at some point it will serve. That's not a stone for beginners. That is an advanced stone. It's a stone that is here to help humanity transform and transcend. It's one of many. There are others now that have joined it, but that's a great gift. Whoever gave you that stone really cares about you.
Right.
I'm gonna have to look up that stone.
What were you asking her in the before the show?
Okay, my dream is to go to Herkimer, New York, and mine my own Herkimer diamond. I have quite a few around because as a Reiki master, it's one of the better stones to have to work with. But tell me a little bit more about the Herkimer diamond.
So for those that have never seen one, a Herkimer diamond, I wish I had one here. I always wish I had one with me. They're tiny, but they're perfectly formed and they're very fine. The frequency is very, very high and pure frequency. You know what they say about the diamonds that are a girl's best friend. There we go. Thank you very much. Oh, and it's a nice format too. Yeah. So what's beautiful about them in a practical sense is it's very easy to carry. It's an amplifier. So it's in the crystal quartz family, but carried to the NEM degree, to a much higher level. And its purity and the concentratedness of its power means that it's a very powerful amplifier and very easy to work with. It also, I would just put this forth for your consideration. If you can imagine that the crystals work in correlation with us, and if we're attracted to them, there's always a reason. Imagine that the human form that we have, you know, and maybe we even grew up in a context where people are like, well, who do you think you are? And trying to talk us into believing that we're small, and maybe even scrunching us down in life. But the truth of us is vast and powerful. And the Herkimer diamond, I feel, is maybe the ally to help us to make the transition from seeing ourselves as small, as weak, as powerless, as inconsequential, to stepping boldly, and I'm doing this no matter what, to stepping with courage and love and compassion into the vastness of ourselves. So I love this particular diamond. They're not that easy to find, and they can be a little dear, but they're absolutely worth finding, because, and if we work with a stone, it's always our intention and not the stone's innate power that will help us to transform. And so if we have the intention, the clear intention to step out of the small molds that we scrunched into because the world put us there, and really break free of that and stand up in our power and shine, the Herkimer diamond, I don't think there's a better stone to work with. That makes sense?
Yes.
Yeah, she wants to go to New York to mine for hers, and
I've seen videos where they mined in Herkimer, New York, in the mines, and I was like, it just sort of, ooh, yes, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, you're gonna go. No, I want to go too. Let me know when you go.
Okay, so she right here. I love my crystals, but attracted to lapis lazuli, angel aura. I have much rose quartz. Yeah, I do too. I've got like a rose quartz. I'm going to ask about these things anyways. Like a little wand, the shapes of the rose quartzes. And this is one Athena just sent me, a nice rose quartz. But this is lapis lazuli, and that blue how do you say it?
Chalcedony.
Chalcedony for my throat. Because you guys know I've been losing my voice, so I'm doing these things. I'm trying. I got my hematite on for my protection. I've got all my other. We're loaded up, But when you were saying, like, people that are attracted to these stones for whatever reason, when I was a child, right? Growing up, everything was tigerite and onyx. That's what I wanted. I had it all over me all the time with copper on the bracelets and everything, the big flat ones. I loved it, always have. And so what would be the reason why I would be always so drawn to like tigerite and onyx?
Yeah, I'm chuckling because the very first stone anybody ever gave me was a tigerite, and it was my godmother, and it was for communion. And right away when you were asking the question, the answer, and as with everything that I'm going to say, this comes through without filter, and I'd invite you just to feel into your own vehicle to see if and how it resonates for you, because everyone has a different reaction to stones, and everyone's got their own truth. But my understanding right away was, because you were a sensitive child, and everybody here was a sensitive child. As a sensitive, the world in its brusqueness was too much. It caused things to close and to step back and protect yourself. And the tiger eye came into your world. Also, onyx came into the world into your world to facilitate that protection. So I would argue that means that there's a soul contract that you already have with the earth and with the crystal realm And this was the iteration. These were the expressions that were helping you make it through.
Right. So these are the
Does that make
things I'm talking
sense?
about. Yeah, like going through your life, what these things mean, how they come in and out of our lives that we just like don't even think of. And but yet they're so meaningful. You know, they really are shaping your life. They really are guiding you. They really are keeping you on that path. You know, and then the more we learn, and especially like in the fields that we're in, Mama as a Reiki master, me paranormal investigator, you know, or if I'm even doing like a cleansing, you know, of a house, you know, like I'll wear this crystal here. It's like a wand like crystal, right? But it's the, you know, it's clear and it amplifies the power that I'm trying to use to, you know, get rid of,
to purify,
whatever it is that I'm trying to get rid of. You know, so like I use these, you know, just like I would my oils and everything else. So they all have a purpose. But you know, but just people that even aren't in our field. You know, someone birthstones. You have a whole thing of birthstones, right? So again, right here, I have my birthstone is a garnet, some Capricorn, and I have citrine on both sides. So
right next to it. Nice mix.
So,
yeah.
Right?
The idea is absolutely that stones don't come to us by accident, although the world would have us believe that that's so. That the specific stones that come to us always come for a reason. And when stones leave, they also leave for a reason. So if we're actually working with stones, what I found super calming for my very active mind, because you know you grow up with the brain and you don't give away the brain when you get involved in this stuff. I started with a healthy dose of cynicism. I think beginning from a place of doubt is a good place to begin. But I noticed that as I was working with crystals, I would be intensely attracted to a crystal. I went through a labradorite phase, and then after a while, I was no longer attracted to it. I was attracted to the moldavite, to the next crystal. And I came to understand that the reason that we have those intense attractions and then it kind of tails off isn't because we no longer have a nice relationship with these stones. It's because we've already cultivated the frequency that's carried by the stone within us. So we don't need the outside expression. It's already integrated within. So I just love seeing and feeling and knowing, okay, this means that energy is already in stock. Now we'll move on to the next. And so the stones themselves can be our teachers as we go through.
Right. So Jojo says that she's got 2 birthstones as a Libra. Now that's mother. What is that? The white pretty one that's all shiny.
Mother of pearl.
Mother of pearl. And what's the other one? I don't know what the other one is. Maybe a moonstone? I don't know.
It's a moonstone.
I have no idea. But opal? Opal. That's what it is. Yep. Because I mean I bought so many opals for my mom too, because I had my mom, daughter, and sister are all that. She says opal. I thought then a pink one. Okay. Well, I don't know. But I have your little list here. Let's see, what is it?
Let's pull out the
Libra. Tourmaline.
And which can be a pink tourmaline.
Is there okay. Joan Castillo asked, sorry, I put a French accent to that name. Is there crystals or stones that you can get to keep away negative people from you? I have an onyx that'll do the job. And he's got 4 legs and he's a white furry one.
Yeah, there are a good few protective crystals, and personally, I use obsidian, onyx, obsidian. I like obsidian; it absorbs and transmutes the energy. Other stones will also repel, but there are absolutely stones that will do it. Remembering, of course, that it's our intention that is the key. Right. That permits the stones to move in tandem with our intention to help us out.
Right. Yeah. And Joni's just sending you a heart, Joan.
Joan. So now
again, I have a ton of crystals over here, and they come in all kinds of different shapes and sizes, and all the different chakras. Now, excuse me, what is the difference between using a polished stone as opposed to a rough
stone, a natural stone?
Raw crystal.
Yeah. And this is such an important question that I actually do monthly online classes. And I'm going to talk about forms for the first few months of this year, because I always talk about different stones, but the forms are really important. So a polished stone has the benefit of being around us much more. Most of the stones that we see, if we go to knickknack shops, polished stones are really everywhere, sometimes even in non-stone stores. The polished stones basically are when stones are taken out of the earth. What falls to the side is put into a machine and turned up. And so one could say that they are polished in a very brusque manner, not always with so much respect. And so as we work with the polished stones for someone, especially someone who's just beginning, it can be a little bit more difficult to connect with the energy, almost as if, this is a wacky metaphor, but it's what comes to me, almost as if we're adopting a child, and it's a child who has been not treated well. So as we work with the polished stones, they feel wonderful, they feel soft, they feel nice to the hand, but it's interesting really to take this stone into your family, into your life, into your heart, and spend the time connecting with it. The stone that has been tampered with less will be more directly open. So if you have a rough stone, it wasn't churned up and softened, the edges weren't softened, it's more natural. It might have been something that fell when they took a big honking chunk of a crystal out of the earth, but its power is more easily accessible. Geodes also would be more easily accessible. So unless it's a human person who has worked with a stone to raise its frequency, yeah, that's beautiful. So that was done very respectfully. It was cleanly cut. It's a geode, so it's actually pretty powerful. If you have stones that are sculpted into forms like angels, like
I love the stones when they're put into created into bears and skulls, and
yeah,
I think they're gorgeous.
I have,
but I personally like raw crystals.
Yeah, I have my obsidian pot. You know.
Yeah. So eventually, anybody anybody who wants to can work with these polished crystals. They've done humanity a great service because they're everywhere. They are waking people up to the fact that crystals are Mother Earth, sitting in our pocket or sitting in our house. But I myself have a preference for the rough crystals. Yeah. With
a rough crystal, would that be easier to cleanse, to like repower as well?
You would think so, but in fact, the intention of cleansing is so powerful that whether a stone is rolled or pure or geode or something that's, no matter what form it's in, if we really have a concentrated and focused intention to clear, that clearing will happen very quickly. We are way more powerful than we think. And so a lot of there are as many ways to clear crystals that are suggested in the various books as there are various books and people that clear crystals. We're very creative. We're the children of a creator, and the common denominator must be the intention. And after that, going into a space with a crystal to clear it is, I would argue, a very intimate process, and it brings us closer. It opens us and clears us at the same time. But I would not say that it's harder to clear one than another. It's as easy as it is, and that depends on the person and the moment. It's as easy as it is for us to say entirely focused, because where our attention goes, so goes the energy.
Right. So now, what about like when you go into a shop and you buy, say, like this, like a hematite ring? right?
Mm-mm.
And the woman wants to clear the energy from it, and she puts it in like a singing bowl,
Mhm.
and it does that. Now, do you agree with this, or do you think there's a different way or a better way?
Mm-mm. I think that's a lovely way to clear a stone. I personally wouldn't let somebody else clear my stone, but but if you don't know what you're doing, if it's the first time and this is the expert, then why not? Singing bowls, we could sing ourselves, singing, directing our singing voice, toning on the crystal. It can be sound, it can be breath, it can be water, it can be sun. Really, there are myriad ways of achieving the purity. The common denominator has to be the focus of our attention. As a Reiki master, one of the most joyful ways that I like to clear my crystals is with Reiki. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just bringing that energy right in. And doesn't that, I'm speaking French again, darn, stop it. Doesn't that bring us more?
It's okay, I can translate.
It strengthens the ties between us and our crystals even more powerfully. Yeah.
I had a friend.
Yeah.
I had a friend who she had like a flower pot, and she used to put her crystals in there.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
She would just surround them with it.
Oh, I love it. And I love full moon, bringing all my crystals out. I have a terrace in my apartment in Paris. I bring even the honking geodes, everybody out on the terrace. Yeah, it's a big production, but I love to do it. And the people in the buildings across the way look like, what is that crazy woman doing?
What's that crazy lady doing? Nothing,
but I don't understand. They are
putting rocks on her. She got some rocks in her head.
She has rocks in the head.
Yeah, that would be. We have a couple of questions in the chat room. My stupid computers being a pain in the tuchus. Okay. For Joan, does she wear them around her neck or does she carry them? The one to keep away negative people.
Yeah, it could be either. It could be either. You have to go with what's the least, both the most, the easiest to stay focused on, because it's important to be conscious that you're touching it as the day goes on, but it also can't be something that's going to bother you. So it could be in your pocket, it can be in your bra, because you said your name's Joan, so maybe there's a bra involved. It could be really, if you're working at a desk, it could be in front of you. The idea is that from time to time, as the day goes on, there is yes, my intention is still this, and you're serving, and why not a thanking? Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I put the some of these crystals in my bra. Like
I'm sorry, but that's a woman's perfect pocket.
Tiny itsy bitsy little
two of them normally.
Right? And it's like one day Bob comes walking in, and one must have fallen out. It was I think it was Jet or something like that. And he's like, "What is this?"
Where did it come from? Where did this come from?
Never mind.
Jason Arthur asks, "Are there crystals for love?"
Yes.
Yes. There are crystals for all kinds of love. Mm-hmm. If it is, and Valentine's Day is coming up, if it's a crystal for romantic love, I would say that the rose quartz. Yeah, that's not why I'm wearing it, or maybe it is. I don't know. But a rose quartz.
Ooh, pretty.
Rose quartz is a very nice stone for bringing it in, and remembering that to attract romantic love, we have to be offering ourselves that romantic love. Yep. Energy seeks its equilibrium. So turning our loving regard to ourselves and with the help of rose quartz or other crystals can be very helpful, because then our emanation will attract that same frequency, will attract those relationships. Exactly. Excellent question.
Colette, she's the one who asked about the seven crystal. I have anxiety, depression, and they say I am bipolar and having some physical issues too. Do you think that might be the reason why I was given this zone and very spiritual?
Yeah. So for somebody who's a very powerful sensitive, anxiety, depression, and ups and downs are the norm. and the world doesn't know what to do about that or say about that or how to look at it. And so they put, labels on our foreheads and tell us to take these drugs and go away.
Right.
So the crystal that you have is a very powerful crystal. It can absolutely assist you in transitioning from too sensitive and so on this roller coaster ride of a life to grounded and powerful. Because the truth is, there's no such thing as too sensitive. There's only such a thing as not being able to hold that sensitivity and those gifts within the physical form. Not yet. That's a talent that's cultivated. I talk about that specifically in how to handle your energy and inviting angels into your life. I think I talk about it also a little bit in Discover Your Crystal Family. What I would say is maybe save the 7 for a little bit after you get a little bit more stable and work with an obsidian or any of the grounding crystals, red jasper, garnet, to get yourself to a more calm place, and then bring the 7 in to facilitate your integration of the sensitivity that's already your own, because those downsides will be transformed if you work with crystals and simply if you continue on your path taking very good care of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, red jasper, all that. That's another one that's good for your root chakra. Again, another love zone.
I like carnelian.
Yeah, and those could be.
I like that one. Mm-hmm.
Stones to work with for
absolutely
for love and for Valentine's Day.
Oh yes, sensitivity and sexuality and sensuality. Voila. I'm still speaking French in my head. I'm sorry. I've been in the States for 3 months. How is that even possible? I'm going to get back to France, and I'm not going to be able.
It gets into your blood.
And after that, it's just too difficult.
And then when you go back to France, they'll be like, "Who the hell are you?"
And really, I don't know. I could not tell you. I have to stop because I love doing that.
Yeah, so do I.
It really pisses off French people.
I know, but you know what? If they're seeing this show, that's a good thing, because then they can tick them off and they'll tell their friends, "You should see these women on the show. They're making fun of our accent. Oh wait, let's go check it out." And imagine, I think that was more Quebecois.
It was, but I loved that accent. And besides, when I speak French, I speak. Sometimes people think I'm Canadian. I don't know really why, but that's a little bit better than them thinking.
You have a Bronx twang.
Yeah, so I got something. They don't know where I'm from.
She just landed here, and she just no worries.
That's right. Just my wings brought me here.
Huh. Right.
Exactly.
So, okay, yeah. Speaking of wings, so how did you start associating the stones with the archangels?
Yeah. Well, I told you that that I had that very powerful experience with the chlorite phantom crystal during my training to work with archangels. So it kind of was already preordained, although it didn't come to fruition and clarity in my head until much later, as I started teaching about crystals. The core group of archangels that I work with, there's 15 of them. And then as I started working with the crystals from the beginning, I was very guided in putting together. In fact, the way I started teaching about crystals is my geodes. So I have one big honking amethyst. It's cut in 2 geodes, about 3 feet tall. And one is Pierre, and the other is Sophie. So Pierre and Sophie. Yeah, and one is a more masculine energy on the other. So I was cleaning the space, getting ready for an angel training in Paris, and I heard, well, when are we going to begin our work? And I knew right away what it meant. And so, okay, so we can do that. We can teach about crystals, and it coalesced. It just fell into place, the content. And most of what's in the book is what fell into place, even from the very beginning. But this idea of working with a certain number of stones, it just came naturally out of the work that I had been doing on myself for some clients and my teaching that there were 15 stones that I still do. I still offer a little bag of 15 stones that we talk about, that we work with during the class. So they go home with stones. They don't have to go out and,
Yeah.
So then one day, it took me a while. I'm like, oh, I work with 15 angels and I work with 15 stones. And could that be a coincidence?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not. And so
no such thing as a coincidence.
No, of course. Doesn't that make this life much more fun? But the fact that an archangel is an expression of a divine quality, and the crystals are an expression of a divine, or expressed through the earth, but still the same quality. So I'm like, oh, I have 15 crystals expressing these 15 qualities, and here are these angels expressing the same qualities. So earth and sky meeting. That's a short story long, but effectively that's how that coalesced, and it came very clearly through to me, and I've been teaching it that way, so it's in the book that way.
Well, I love that.
I think I'm going to have to get that crystal book and read it.
I know. I need book in hand. I like to have book in hand. I mean, it's great. I read it. I have it on, my computer. But, I just don't like sitting here. I like to sit over there in a nice comfy chair to read a book, right? But not here, to read on the computer. It just seems,
I get that.
I got Athena's book in my hand. Right?
It makes a difference. It's like, for me, when you have a PDF and a book, they both give you the same knowledge, but it's like a raw crystal and a tumble crystal.
Yeah,
they're both going to do the same thing, but you just, some people are like, oh, Kindle,
you know what I mean? But this is not a book that you're reading, you're done with. This is a book that you're always referencing.
That's right.
Like
we're going to go back to, we're going to put, and Gina's good with putting little Post-its in there, and you see the book she reads, got Post-its all over the place. Oh my God.
And that's it. You mark it up, you turn the pages down, and you can go back and find it. I love it. That looks very familiar.
The crystal handbook, you know what I mean? And it's like,
such a good book.
I have crystals and healing and crystal handbook. I want a crystal book
gorgeous.
Because I like crystals. I want to know, what their forms are, what
Absolutely.
their uses are, what their strengths are. When they break, what are we supposed to do when they break?
Mm-hmm.
So how would you answer that question? Yes.
Yeah. So when they break, it's not an accident. So I'm not of the mind that this is a disaster when it happens. It's something that's happened for a reason. And it can be an opportunity to work with the two stones separately, or it can be an opportunity to perhaps gift one and continue to work with the main energy. Normally, a stone, and this is just as I came to understand it, the stone will break the power that was necessary for you in the beginning. You've already integrated so much of it, and so it's no longer necessary that it stays in that same bulk and that same form. So there's no need to make a crazy, I shouldn't say crazy.
Someone else, right?
Yeah.
So, I think that's awesome. I really, really do.
I had
things like this.
A raw citrine, and it had little, it was adorable. And I had it for about 4 years. And then one day I picked it up and I looked at it and I was like, I just knew that there was something that I had, there was something changing.
Yeah.
And then I noticed that there was a crack down the center of it, and it broke into 2 pieces. And I was like, okay.
That's what that was.
Let's see where, there was a change, and it's just as simple as that. And did I understand it at the time? No. Do I kind of get it? Maybe.
Yeah.
But then anytime that are supposed to break, like these, like we get these hematite rings, we wear these on paranormal investigations, go into these, haunted locations and whatnot, absorbs a lot of negative energy, and when it's full, it breaks. When I was at the last Paracon last year, my ring broke. So then it was like, oh, I should be able to get one here. Someone should sell it. They didn't, and I had to go get another one. I was like, wow, that's really kind of crazy. But I found one at a thing that they had not too far from us over here in a cemetery, no less. They had Wyoming Ghost Tours did this thing in the
Very
cemetery
cool.
where they had a bunch of vendors, like there's an open area. It was well done. I was
Yeah.
skeptical going in there, going,
Yeah.
disrespectful. It wasn't. They have the
Good.
historical society there, and they say, well, what we do is we give tours and we tell you who the, prominent people are, where they're buried, what they've done in the community, because it's a historical place.
Yeah.
So all that kind of stuff, it was done really nicely. But I found myself at ring, so I'm like, okay, good. And it hasn't broken.
Kind of cool that you got it in a cemetery.
Yeah.
I know, right, of all places.
For the work that you do, I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
So funny.
Exactly. Sharon says, I had a bracelet that I put on and it clashed with the others I had on and it just exploded apart off my wrist.
I don't hear a question in there.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Well, the answer, if that was a question, the answer was a little bit in the same text. Clashed with other stones that you're carrying, clashed with the energy that you're carrying, and energy seeks equilibrium. If they can't stay together, there will be somebody's leaving somehow. But yeah, it can happen, and it happens with necklaces and bracelets. It can happen with rings. It can, So stones will let you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes, we make a choice with the head, and the correction, gentle or no, will happen. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you for that example, because sometimes it's not so gentle. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Definitely make yourself known. So it's like that's the thing about getting these books, because otherwise you don't know. You don't know what these properties are. And
right.
and people are like, well, I'm just going to grab every single stone and put them in my pockets and put them all over me. It's like, well, you could be working with opposite ends of
That's right.
powers, and it can screw you up more than help you.
And if you're not really working with them with clear intention, it's like putting plastic in your pocket. It's not going to have the impact that one would desire it to have. It's not a real collaboration if we're just going to throw a bunch of stuff together. It's not like plastic, that's an exaggeration, but effectively to work in a meaningful way with crystals, it requires intention, and it's not just the whim of a moment of, let's put these together and see what this soup turns out to be.
Right. Well, right now we have Athena just popped in. She's going to do our mid-break crystal of the week, which she's going to be doing amethyst. So let me show you her picture here. This will be amethyst.
I love me my amethyst, girl.
Right. So we are going to leave, and we are going to put her up, and she's going to tell you about this stone. So we'll be back in a couple minutes.
Hello, loves. I'm so grateful to be back here on the Foxden show with you. Mama D and Gina V, thank you for having me, of course. I am Athena Barry, Reiki master and author of award-winning book, Raise Your Vibes, and creator of crystalreikihealer.com. And again, I am just so grateful to be here and feature our Crystal of the Week segment. So a crystal that really resonated for me for this week's show, and especially with our author and Reiki master, Kathryn Hudson, and her new book, Discover Your Crystal Family, is amethyst. Amethyst is the most beautiful shades of purple in all of nature. It is probably one of the easiest stones to find, though being common does not take away from its incredible healing powers or its beauty. So if you haven't bought any crystals yet, I highly recommend starting with an amethyst. This one activates and balances our third eye and our crown chakras. It enhances our intuition, our psychic abilities, and strengthens our connection to the divine. So if you've been working on strengthening, your clair abilities, especially clairvoyance or claircognizance, this is a wonderful choice to support you. This stone is, it's also very helpful where insomnia is caused by an overactive mind. and it protects against recurrent nightmares. So if you've been struggling with sleep, this is a really good one to keep close. This facilitates also your out-of-body experiences and bringing in intuitive dreams. Children are highly sensitive to its energy. They really gravitate towards this stone, maybe because it's beautiful. I think it's because of the energy, and it really supports them in getting to sleep easier as well. So parents out there, if you're struggling with bedtime, just go ahead and pop an amethyst under their pillow. Amethyst's wonderful healing properties bring a sense of calm to your nerves, skin irritations like sunburn especially, and it lowers our blood pressure. It has a very calming effect. So because of this, it's a wonderful support for those that are dealing with, like, say, high stress environments, sleeplessness, or especially anxiety. A fun fact about amethyst is that ancient Greeks used this to heal what they called drunkenness and to sober up with its amazing power to clear the mind. To this day, many people use it to support their healing and overcoming of addictions to things like drugs and alcohol. This is a wonderful tool for meditation, as it will help you find and meet your spirit guides and connect with your angels. It guides you in knowing that you are really part of a universal plan. Amethyst cleanses our aura and transmutes negative energies with its high vibrations and frequencies, helping you to balance physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Though not considered a protection stone in the traditional sense, this beauty will shield your aura and your home from those lower vibrations. Amethyst invokes the violet flame in this way, which can be used for healing as well as protection, and goes back to stories of Saint Germain with using amethyst with the violet flame. Ways you can use this stone, of course, you can put it under your pillow, as I've said. When you're going to sleep, you can keep one, like I always do, in your bra or in a pocket or your handbag. It's wonderful for your full moon and your new moon rituals, as well as using like little pieces. Let's see if I can show you here like this. Just little ones work really well as amplifiers for your crystal grids. They're also great for jewelry, jewelry, as I have here. I'm always wearing it. And I have a beautiful piece I forgot to put on today, but it's wonderful for jewelry, and it's a hard crystal. So it really takes shape really nicely, and they can cut it beautifully. It's also really great to put in your water. So just pop one in your water bottle or in your bath, and it creates this crystal elixir where you're really taking in its divine healing and its energy. You can also, of course, hold it in your hands or keep it next to you when you meditate. Just to help calm your mind and connect to, your higher consciousness. And of course, I love to leave you with a wonderful affirmation to help you connect to your crystal's energy. And for amethyst, I am open to receive all that my mind's eye and spirit know to be true in divine timing. And that is our segment, our crystal segment for the week. Thank you, ladies, so much for having me join you this week. I hope this has brought some value to your show.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
And
I have a
Kathryn,
question.
wonderful to see you.
So nice to
I have
see
a
you
question,
again,
Athena.
Athena.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know how you see those posts on Facebook where they have like crystal and bathtubs, and the one they always show that always kind of goes is an amethyst bathtub. I saw it one time. It's like, oh my god,
Amazing.
Forget the bubbles.
And
I just want to get in that tub.
Although I think you'd have to have a thick resin, right? You'd have to have I don't know that laying on amethyst would be that comfortable. But the sinks too. Have you seen the sinks, the coffee tables? Amethyst is really easy to find. And in Brazil they have, and what is it? Brazil and is it Uruguay? They have beautiful specimens, just like naturally out, like go for a hike and you're going to find these, and they're wonderful to get these big pieces. Of course they run a little much, so if you have the budget,
Do it.
Do it.
Win the lottery, not a problem.
Right, no problem.
Well, everybody loves you, Athena. So now
Yeah.
Athena has her own show that she just started not that long ago.
Girl.
And Kathryn was a guest on her show.
Yes. So it's so fun to be back here and to see you here as well. It's just
Absolutely.
always a pleasure to be able to connect with you. And doesn't she just vibrate like glow when she
know.
speaks?
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
That's the pot calling the kettle black, my dear.
Oh no, there's nothing black about it. But thank you.
That's the pot calling the kettle white.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Excuse me.
All about that amethyst, right?
Mm-mm-mm.
Oh, and you have yours
Yes,
there too.
sisterhood, always.
Oh, you guys all have yours. I love it. And even these like little tiny pieces, they're so great to keep like,
Absolutely.
you know, in your bra, and your like, you know, some people put them in their like
I got a giant one that will not fit in my bra.
Well, you gotta get the little pieces. Yeah, Sharon said I already balanced my chi. Well, she was at Tai Chi tonight. That's why she was late to the show.
Well, forgive her.
So
well.
we'll let her.
Aquarius is all about, you know, moving your body and getting moving and being
That's
social and all that. So it was
that's a pretty good
time.
excuse. Absolutely.
I mean, it works for me.
Yeah, I know that's the only excuse that I will accept. Otherwise,
Oh, come on. Let's try to think of another one.
I'm going into labor.
It was Mercury retrograde's fault. There we go.
We've been there, done that. Is it gone now? It's got to be, right? I think
No, not yet. No,
not yet.
the last day is the 3rd of February. So 4th it goes direct, but then we have like that shadow period.
That's right.
And I have a Gemini rising, so that shadow period for me personally is harder than the actual retrograde. So we'll see how it goes.
This has been tough. We've been talking about it. It's been tough. It's been tough for ailments, for COVID, and everyone dealing with all these issues, and it has to end. I think Mercury retrograde definitely amplified everything.
Absolutely. And Venus retrograde too. We had Venus retrograde as well. That's ending on, what is it, Saturday or Sunday, the 30th, whatever.
Yeah,
day
my
that
calendar. I have a book somewhere over here about where the retrogrades, are, but it ended, in December. So now I'm like clueless. I have to get another thing.
You got to get a new book now. Yes. You should call that author. You should reach out to that author and have them come on the show.
On our show.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Time to bring her back. You need a new updated version.
There you go.
But it is awesome because it's for business. Because be like, don't make big decisions during this time. So you have, and the way she does is on a calendar. It's like, if there's the big red line, no. Make plans, do all that stuff, but don't make any decisions.
Yeah, try. Well, or if you do, just expect it to be a learning experience.
Those words. Those words.
That's a nice way to put it.
But anyway, but seriously, Athena, you're beautiful and you're wonderful, and we appreciate you very much, and we love your segment.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Can I just point something out?
Thank you. You make me cry. Yeah. Yes.
Next week, the 3 of us, it's going to be girls' night. We're going. If anybody has any questions about us,
right, then
that's the time to ask. Don't ask what you can ask crystal questions. We're not doing readings. We're just shooting a breeze.
Right.
Yeah,
so
nice conversation,
Mama,
get to know us.
Right. Yeah. Me, Mama, and Athena. It will be the girls of the Fox Den. So so that will be our next week's show.
Man, I want to come.
Can I just say something, Athena? You know how these lovely intro videos that Gina makes, right? She made a great one for Kathryn. She's not making one for our show. That's all I got to say. She said, not doing it for us.
She just called you out. She just called you out.
She did. She really did.
Oh, I guess you're going to have to get to work.
She does them so well. I mean, so many people go, I want that. I'm going to I'm gonna come to you
Alright,
and get ours
alright,
done. They never
alright.
do. It's like,
I know,
well,
and
if
she's
you don't
adorable.
respond,
I
she's gonna
told
get
her, oh
on
my
your
goodness.
Yes.
I told her, how do you do that? That's so cool.
Don't
And she's
learn
like, oh,
anymore.
it's so easy.
Wow.
No, it's not that
Doesn't
easy.
look easy. Doesn't look
No.
easy. A lot of
No, I
work.
worked on one.
No,
all
okay, I
day
can.
today.
Next week, I will spill secrets about Gina and her doing
Alright,
her
I will
videos for
do it.
guests.
I will make
No,
one.
I'm gonna still spill secrets. I don't care. I'm still telling all the times that. Let me tell you this, ladies. I have a castle built somewhere because for her swear jar, for her swearing, when she makes a mistake, she's like this close to the end, and she mucks up a word, and she's yeah, it's like okay, yep.
She's spilling the beans early.
Oh,
yeah,
Mama
just
D,
wait.
you got some karma coming back your way. I don't
I'm
know.
making a list. I'm checking
Right?
it twice.
Right?
Just
I can
wait
handle
for
it.
baby cakes.
I'm a
She's
redhead.
Gina B
You
is
can
just
handle
saving
it.
it all for next week.
I'm patient. I can be very patient.
Oh, my
No, it's
goodness.
okay. The show will be over. It's like,
She's coming.
Oh my goodness.
It's gonna be.
Okay, I'm done.
It'll be fun. It'll be great.
Amazing.
I love it. I
So
love
much
it.
fun.
She's saying,
So much fun.
thank you, everyone. Good show. But the show is not over.
Thank you,
We're,
Denise.
we're,
No,
No,
we've
it's
got
not
another 50
over.
minutes.
My
Wait.
segment is over. And again, it was just, I'm totally tearing from crying, like from laughing as I do. I don't know why I do this. But Kathryn, so lovely to see you again. I love that your book is coming out here and getting featured and shown around because it's such a joy to have. And I really enjoyed reading it. And I loved all your stories about the crystals popping up and showing up in your life as gifts. That was wonderful. And ladies up here, thank you again so much for having me. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your show.
Thanks so much, Athena. Bright
Thank
Bye,
light.
you.
loves. Bye, loves.
Bye.
and we'll see you next week.
Okay. Mwah.
I love her.
Such a doll.
Yeah.
She is. She is.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to call her husband, somehow get a hold of her husband so I can get some goods on her dish on her. Yeah. And she's down in the green room giggling like, no, you ain't.
No, my God.
I know things. I've gotten to know Athena a little better now, so I know.
Gina's been piling up the goodies, has she?
Oh my goodness, you guys are trouble.
Yes, we are.
I love
But
it.
that's what makes our show stand out from other shows. We're not like, okay, so tell us why. No, we ask you to tell us
That's
why
not
stories, but then the little squirrel comes across the screen and we're gone.
And the fox and the
Yep.
no, it's a party.
Flying squirrel.
It is. We enjoy ourselves, and that's what we like it to be. Is that not just our guests, but as well our people in the chat room get to enjoy it because Athena just sent me a message. No, oh my God, don't. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna figure out a way to get a hold of him. Don't. But we like to make it that everybody enjoys themselves.
We have ways.
It's so important, and that people take themselves less seriously, and that when you're treating heavy subjects like spirituality or crystals or Reiki or whatever it is, then we realize that there's this lightness, that there's this call to joy, that the less we can take ourselves seriously in it, the more easily these capacities and experiences will come forward. So I mean, I just think y'all. I'm in North Carolina right now. So I said y'all. Oh my goodness. Do I say you guys or y'all? But seriously, it's just such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Well,
it's wonderful to have you on here, and you do like what Athena said too. You have that glow about you, and you can tell. You can always tell a person that is like pretty comfortable in their own skin to say to put it that way, and and you have that the proper energy, the proper balance, and you can see it. It just comes right out of you. So that means what you're doing is true and correct and important, and you're a good teacher, so
thank you very much. But I think it's true. I think it's so simple that it's visible. You know, we can see people who shine, and we can see people that don't shine. We know ourselves the days that we're shining and the days that we're not, because we're all human beings, and we're not transcended yet. But I mean, that it is visual and it's visible, I think is really reassuring, and we can both see how we're doing, but also, we do become that beacon in the night kind of thing. People come, they're attracted, and they're like, well, what do you have? Why are you guys so much fun? Why are you ladies so much fun? I got the Bronx you guys thing going here. But so they're attracted to your show for this reason. There's joy there. There's fun. There's lightness. I just think it's great.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Colette says, I'm glad you told me, because she's in Facebook jail. If you're ever in Facebook jail, we are on YouTube, and you can still comment on the show, just for FYI. Right?
Yes.
And Colette did not know that. So,
exactly. And if you do go to Facebook or YouTube and watch us, especially on YouTube, you know how I am. Y'all better hit that like and share and subscribe and all that fun stuff, because we have sneaky little things that come on. You never know. We may have a sneaky show with a crystal expert at any time. Shit happens every day.
Achoo!
You never know. I mean, yeah,
What's she talking about?
We do pop up.
Never know. You never know what we can get up to.
I know, because we might just say, hey, we might, because we're going to be talking to Kathryn from now on. She's part of our family now, and I think,
absolutely.
It's
you can't get rid of us. Unfortunately, people get on the show and they're like,
let's do a little pop-up show. And the only way you're gonna find out about it is if you're a subscription to
exactly. We do things like that just to irk people who don't follow us on YouTube, and they're like, oh no, I only watch you on Facebook.
You gotta hit the notification too, along with the subscription.
Exactly. Little bell thing.
Notification, because that's the one that says ding ding ding, hey, they're live. You're gonna miss it. And it's usually something important if we're doing that too.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Okay, here we go. Sharon, does Kathryn know she has an orangish aura?
Yes.
Okay, next question.
I'm sorry to do this, but there is an orange lampshade on the light that's in front of me.
Okay.
That's okay. Gina's always complaining that she looks purple, and I'm like too white. I'm sorry.
I get this thing, right? This light. Okay, now it's on green. It's on purple. It's on blue. It's on red.
She's like,
so I can change my auras like this if I want to. I can do all
love watching it on YouTube.
Love it.
Now we need the music. Oh, we can do music. Now I got to get it back to normal.
Yeah, because if she's not happy, trust me, if she's not happy with her phone,
I'll leave it on green.
There, stick it
on. There is another new thing from StreamYard that they just added, and it's this. You can have background music.
You don't need background. Well, okay, I won't say this.
Right? So if we're bored, we can do that. We can
the
do
fox is in.
The background music.
What does the fox say?
When I have that up there. When the squirrel was flying by. To the
background music. Say squirrel.
The shiny ball moments are incredible.
Exactly.
Let me pull us back in a little bit here. And this is actually, if you do want to get in touch with Kathryn, so go. Her website is the KathrynHudson.fr.
Right. There's no backslash on it. So that's my website. That'd be great. And I do 1 minute angel messages every morning on Instagram and on Facebook. Having a lot of fun with doing that. So
that's
check it out.
Yeah. I didn't get a chance to follow you on everything, but I do.
I'll find you too, Mama D.
Oh yeah, I'm everywhere. My Instagram is a mishmash of all kinds of stuff.
I can't wait. Looking forward
to it. So she does do a lot of classes, all those things. So if you didn't see the first part of the show, again, I just to re-up on everybody.
Thank you.
Do all the things that you offer. Tell them everything.
So yeah. Individual sessions, classes, books, and fun. I think fun is the biggest thing. And that's why I do the angel messages every morning. It's on my Facebook author page and it's on my Instagram page. And that's kind of how I give a hug to the world every day. But interestingly, the messages always come through for me, things that they're suggesting for me, and I share them. And I've been doing it now for over a year and a half. And I do 1 minute in French. So if you see one in French, it's not for you. There's another one in English that's right next to it. So yeah, that's all I got to say.
It'll teach people some French. Go for it.
Some people are doing that. And also a lot of French people watch the English version to practice their English. Some of them tell me that there's more information in the English version. I think that's just because it's my mother tongue.
Yeah.
They have apps for that. You know, you can just play it and it will translate it for you.
Hey, look, if they can do, if a French politician could take 20 minutes to explain something in French and 2 minutes to explain it in English, you can do the reverse. There we go.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think so.
But I watched one of your things. You were in your kitchen. Your kitchen was getting remodeled.
Yes.
And it was funny. You're pointing and like saying an angel was like, you know, giving you messages that was like right out the window. And
Well, the message that day was how important it is to collaborate, to find people that will bring their best, and then we give our best. And my example was, I'm not fixing those, and I'm pointing to them because now they're done. But I wasn't fixing the cabinets myself. So the collaboration was I found somebody to do that. And in exchange, of course, they got something. But this idea of collaboration, of working with other people, of reaching out and not trying to do everything ourselves, which is a big thing. So thank you very much. I get the confirmation.
I know I can feel it. Yeah.
I get chills because I do that all the time.
And I think that's one of the things that, and yes, we do need to, the things that we do need to get paid for because it is our services. But sometimes there's a collaboration and an exchange of energies.
Absolutely.
You know, and it really makes a lot of sense.
I think so too.
The very first Reiki session I did for a woman, I didn't have my table at that time. So she was like, okay, you give me a reading and I will supply you with the table. And I was like, okay, sure. So when she supplied me with the table, I gave her a free Reiki session just because that's just the way I am. It's time, you know, you got to give to get, and you got to get to give.
And that's really the movement of grace. That's abundance. That's, I should just offer this. So let me just offer this. Or like, you know, well, I need your addresses so I can send you guys books so that you'll have the physical books. It's just, well, but it's that, isn't it? And you kind of want to do that. Something that came to me, which will be a message maybe tomorrow, is focus on what you can give, and what you will get will take care of itself.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
That's true.
And so that is tomorrow's message, by the way. But I mean, we're talking about it now. So double compounding. Yes, I heard you.
I love when we get messages.
This is what we do. This is what we give. Is we give people like you. To the people that are watching and the people that are listening. And
what is the weirdest question you've been asked regards to your angels and crystals?
The weirdest question I ever was asked.
Because I keep hearing one question that was asked to me, and I always like to ask people who work with angels and see what there is.
Well, I'm going to tell you the truth. The weirdest, or the question that remains with me was asked by somebody who knew me back when I was drinking and partying, and they're like, "So, Hudson, you really believe all this angel shit?"
Oh my God. Yeah.
And had come to, I was holding an event in New York and had come and sat in the front row, and I'm like, what's going to happen here? She asked me that question, and I said, well, you know me from way, way back. And you know, I never bullshit. Absolutely, with zero doubt. Yes, I believe in this angel shit.
I know, that's what people ask me.
Yeah.
Do you think the ghost stuff is real?
Yeah. I can talk that. Somebody asked me, do angels watch me while I'm naked and having sex? I was like, dude, I don't want to watch you when you're naked and having sex, but I can't see how you cannot be naked and having sex. I was like, I mean, the gentleman who was in the chat room earlier, Eric, he met his first, not first, but the guy that's with him now. He met him when he was in the shower. He was in the shower, and his wife had gone out, and all of a sudden he heard this ruckus laughter of a man, and he's like, in his mind, he goes, "There's no one else in the house besides." He's a medium, and he's an amazing dude, but he's had other guides with him, but this was the longest, I believe. And it was just like, yo, dude, I'm in the shower here. Could you step outside? And I'll be like,
about 10 years ago, this is funny. I had a ghost meter thing. It's just like an EMF thing, right? And in my bedroom, my old house up in Massachusetts, this was after my husband died. The house was full of spirits. It was like a crazy place. And I laid down my ground rules. I'm like, you are not allowed in my bedroom. You are not allowed in my bathroom.
Good.
Well, I kept sensing this thing and movement on the bed and everything else, And I'm like, I put that thing down and I'm talking. I'm like, are you in the bedroom? Goes off. I'm like, are you supposed to be in the bedroom? Goes off. Right? I'm like, are you
child?
It was talking to like a child, and I'm like, are you gonna leave? You know what I mean? Like all these things. Like I had this whole conversation. I filmed it. I posted it on my GB Investigations page. And this is 10 years ago. So if you went to look for it, it's there somewhere buried, right? But it's on there, and it's so funny the conversation. And it was like talking to a child. Like I'm like, are you ashamed that you I got you, whatever it was? And it was kind of like a
love it.
So
it was there.
Like, no, I'm getting a free show even when I'm dead, dude. Seriously.
And I'm like, get out, right? But it was just so funny the way that it answered. I'm asking these questions, and it's like, bing, 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 and answering all these questions. And
love
it's like,
it.
no, you're not supposed to be in here, right?
Yeah.
Bing,
Out. Go to your own room, too.
Yeah, you guys have the whole basement. Get down there. Or I'll banish y'all. You won't ever go find a new place to stay. But
right. That's so funny. You can imagine somebody saying, well, don't come in while I'm naked. It's just them laughing and saying, get over yourself. This is not a big deal.
Sharon says, start paying rent.
Yeah. I was once asked if angels have sex, and if we die and go to heaven, can we have sex then? And
somebody had a one-track mind.
Yeah, seriously. It was there's a show, Bob vous dit toute la vérité. Bob tells you all the truth.
All the truth.
Yeah, so which is a great show. But I was laughing. I was like, well, there's joy in all forms was my answer. But
that's a good one. I like that one. Okay. Joy in all forms. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's not the highest, the ultimate form, although it was certainly the topic that was titillating the guy doing the show that day.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens. Well, you know what? If it wasn't for that, we would not be here today.
Oh, absolutely. No, nothing to naysay about that. That's for sure.
Right.
Oh, ladies, this is great.
Yeah. But Valentine's Day is around the corner and such, so people are going to be talking all about love and what they can do and how they can amp up all these things. And,
absolutely.
So go get those love crystals going and get yourself some flowers, nice things for the house.
Just one flower. It doesn't have to be a whole dozen. Okay, everybody hear that? Send me one flower.
One is kind of nicer, I think.
I do, and I like
I like the carnation flowers.
Carnations, yes. I don't like roses. I don't know why, but I've never liked roses.
They die fast.
Yeah.
They do. They die.
I like daisies.
A wildflower.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love daisies. Yeah.
Wait a second. You're getting a stress test on
Valentine's Day?
I'm going to see a foot doctor on Valentine's Day. I got to go get a nerve test done in my leg a few days before it, and then I got to go see a foot doctor and hopefully not have to have surgery.
I'm teaching a Reiki class in New York that day.
Cool.
We're in New
So
York.
how long are you in the States for? When do you go back to?
I go back to France on the 16th of February. But I'm in North Carolina. I'm writing my 5th book. And so I'll leave here February 8th, go to New York for a week. I'm going to teach a Reiki 2 class and a Reiki 3 class. And then back to France. So a little bit of a whirlwind. But yeah, I'm teaching it in the Bronx. Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Going home.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be too far from me.
That's right. That's right. We'll probably fly right over your house.
Probably. Yep.
Just look
Just
down.
about.
Oh, Gina.
Just about. I'd be like, yo, Fox. Gina B, where the fox go?
That's right. Be in the place to be. Fox, the paranormal princess.
Yo, that Gina B, the fox. Sorry. I'm getting silly.
To make sure you will.
Gina B and
Bonjour.
Mama D. Sorry.
Bonjour,
we
comment.
live together.
What?
I love your names. Gina B and Mama D, they're the foxes.
And the thing is, we had these names before we knew each other.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
it.
My name came from my ex co-host, Chris George from Staten Island, psychic medium from Staten Island. He would say, Gina B in the place to be, Pete Fox, the paranormal princess. And then he'd say G-spot, Gina Bankston. And I dropped the G-spot. I'm like, we don't need that.
I think that's a good choice.
Yeah.
Well, that would be that.
But
Chris would probably
that's
be
him.
like,
That's
nah.
how the character that he was, And,
Yeah.
and he was like, the master of chaos, control chaos, or whatever it was. I don't even know.
Well, talk about that Gina B and Mama D. It's obviously meant to be,
Absolutely.
the fact that
Yeah.
Well, it's like if you ever look up a picture of a fox, more often than not, when you
It's
see a
a
fox,
butterfly.
you see a butterfly around them. So.
that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful. We like what you're doing here.
Yeah. Not like we can argue with it. It's like it's just
I know.
not a good.
I know.
no
I mean, because
argument.
I was on her show with Chris. Then I was on
Yeah.
her show alone. We had
Yeah.
her on our show. Then she was on my show. And then I said, you should just be my co-host. And
Yeah,
try it.
her comment was, "Why don't you come and co-host a couple of shows with me, just for fun? See how it goes." She hasn't been able to get rid of me.
I love it. I
Been
love
like
it.
a year and a half.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just a natural movement, natural alignment. So perfect.
I'd be lost without my mama.
Oh, because I used to come into I have this thing where I go into people's shows and they'll be talking to a guest and I have the habit of going, okay, let's get the link to their show, put it into their chat. There's like Jason Arthur, who was here earlier. He has a show with Jason, Jay, and Joe, 3 J's they call Stirring the Pot.
Cool.
Such boys. I adore them, but they're such boys. Oh my God. But I would always do that for them as well. And Gina was just like, Mama D, thank you very much. And then we talked and it was like, oh, okay, that was it. End of the world.
Love it.
We're done.
Love it. Love it. Meant to be.
It
Meant
was.
to be.
Yeah, and then we were doing, we did this StreamYard thing together. So like all these venue things just come together.
Everything falls into place where it's meant to.
We each have our strengths, and it all comes together nicely. I think.
Yeah.
And
I've got a crystal question.
Yeah.
To bring them back. Okay. If somebody says to you, I would like to buy for somebody a crystal, what would you suggest as to how they choose the crystal? And if you have a suggestion for somebody who's just getting into crystals, what would be the first crystal to start with? Two-parter.
So I pretty much would align with what Athena said. A great first crystal is amethyst. Because it's one that really, it does work on all the chakras, but specifically it's going to start to open the third eye and start to open the crown, helping us to connect with the divine, connect with the divine aspect of ourselves, to connect spiritually by releasing over time those things that hold us back, like addictions, like any habits that don't serve. So I think it's a great place to start, and it's gentle and it's easily accessible and it's not too expensive. You can get for that whole bouquet of reasons, I would say it's a good place to start. If somebody's asking about getting a crystal for somebody else, I like to talk to them about what stands out about that person, what they would like to offer that person in a perfect world. You know, I'd like to bring this person peace. I'd like to bring this person more motivation. I'd like to bring this person, you know, and get to that sense. So although it's not the person who's going to be bringing themselves into a store to pick out a stone,
Right.
the person is entirely energetically with the one who's asking as they go into the store and choose it. So I would almost more say, rather than telling them what stone to get, I would say, well, walk into the store with that intention. And that's what I talk about in the book. Walk into the store thinking entirely of that person and that specific intention, and let the stone speak to you. But I would have to ask for more information before just spouting out a story.
I know, like a friend of mine is going through, her fiance actually is having drinking issues.
Yeah.
So like to give that person an amethyst would be wonderful.
Perfect.
You know?
Yeah.
So things like that. So for your friends or for your, you know, family or whatever, what the issues are, whether they're health issues.
Yeah.
You know,
a nice malachite for health issues, or the tricky thing about giving somebody, or I've had people say, well, you know, my son, he's got problems with drugs. So can I just slip an amethyst like into his room? And in fact, you can't. There's some karma associated. It's kind of like black magic, you know, when you're taking steps in the energetic realm without the person's permission. It's kind of a no-no. But that would be the stone if the person's willing to work with it, to release. Absolutely. Yeah. So it's kind of, you know, it's one of those things too about respecting, letting yourself be guided, and also respecting the energetic of the other. But it's always such a nice gift to give to somebody, isn't it?
It is. They may have to go to a local market the start of the month to look for crystals, as I haven't seen any in our local shops. Okay.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, you can order online too.
Yeah. And just clear them when they get there because they've traveled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the store where I go get my crystals, and the first time I walked into this store, it felt like walking into a hug. You know, that warm, snuggly feeling, right?
Absolutely.
And it's a mother-daughter team, and they're amazing. But the first time I walked in there, and she's just like, see what you're drawn to, because I ask questions. I have that bad habit, good habit. And she goes, see what you're drawn to, and then I'll tell you how they connect to you. And
what a great answer.
Yeah. And Diana's amazing. And when she puts them in a little bag, whether it's tumbled or a raw, she puts some sage in the bag.
Already.
So that they have, so I was like, I've been to a few other stores, and I've never had a store do that.
And that's perfect. That could not be better, because they're already giving you back your power.
Yeah.
You know, you go into a store, and when you don't know anything, of course, you know, you're so often people are like, oh, can you help me? What should I get? And that's kind of titillating to the ego. So, oh yes, I'll show you what you need. I love that the instinct that this person had was not to tell you what you need, but immediately re-empower you so that you start trusting your own instrument. And that is what my book is about. It's about how to start to, from the beginning to the end, how to start to feel them, how to choose them, how to cultivate the trust and faith in your own guidance system. But I love that store. Wow, that's just so nice to hear that happen.
When you come up to Quebec, I'll take you up there.
You know, I know that I switched publishers for the French version of my last book, Réalisez votre mission avec les anges, and I know that it's Hachette. So they're actually being sold. My fourth book in French is being sold in
I'll have
in
to
Quebec.
see if your books are in her store.
Yeah, the last one could be because it's sold in Quebec, but the first three were a smaller French publisher that doesn't have an arm in Quebec. So my intention would be at some point to make Quebec part of I come to New York, I head up to Quebec. But
take me with
no
you.
problem there.
Yeah, I would love that.
call me up and say, hey, I'm going to
Road
Let's
trip.
go. Let's go, road
Here we go. Road trip. There you
We're
go.
gonna stop at Niagara.
Your books can be purchased on Amazon.com.ca.uk. Whatever.
Absolutely. And Barnes and Noble, you can find them in some bookshops too, but Amazon is, of course, the easiest way for many people
Yeah.
to access.
Well, I just like I don't mind going out, but there are times when I don't want to go out. Like I had today off and I didn't even unlock my front door. I just laid my butt in bed and I just chilled and I Netflixed it and I was like, oh yeah, there we go. Hey,
Isn't
family.
it nice to be able to do that sometimes?
Another
Yeah.
Reiki
And allow
master.
it.
Another Reiki master that just came into the room.
Oh, cool. There's
Oh,
a
yeah.
club.
Pam's amazing. She's amazing. She owns a haunted location. She does the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. They have
Wow.
Gettysburg Ghost Exchange. She has a Fever House. It's a very historic location that they do ghost hunts at and such. And yeah, she's fantastic. She's awesome. She's had training at Louisville, I believe.
Excellent.
So, love you.
Hugs.
I'll be seeing her soon. We'll be going down, spending some time together shortly.
Mhm.
But yeah, so these powerful people, when these powerful people come into a room, big things happen, you know.
Absolutely.
And it's like the three of us, we each have our different gifts in this room, you know.
Yes.
And when you get a bunch of people, like when you're teaching,
Mhm.
you know, and everyone does have their own individual gifts, right?
Right.
How do you get them to understand that, you know, what you do and what they do are different things? Like kind of like what you were saying about going into that store and saying, all right, well, what's going to work, you know?
Absolutely. And isn't it so important, because you can be, and you know this for Reiki initiations, you can have somebody who's having an experience and seeing angels, and then somebody else who's like, well, nothing happened. Well, then you have to unpack that. Well, really, did nothing happen? Was it agreeable? Was it disagreeable? No, it was agreeable. Okay. Was it peaceful? Well, yeah, it was peaceful. And is peaceful your natural state? No, it's not.
Yeah.
So really helping people understand that every instrument is different. And just as a piano would not try to be a flute, would not try to be a guitar, the idea is to focus on the gifts that we already have. By cultivating those, everything opens and flowers. And it doesn't make any sense for a piano to try to play like a flute. Similarly.
Hey, guess what I say about that? Viva la différence.
And then she goes, she's got it. That's my girl.
I did not know you speak French also.
Okay, I have the Marita Pepe Le Pew. It's my girl. Okay.
But it is true. It is true. We need the different gifts for different reasons, and that's why, you know, and as a whole, as a, you know, a societal whole, it is definitely needed, all these different people.
Absolutely. Everybody's contribution counts. The book that's coming out in October, Soul Mission and Life Purpose, talks about how every single one of our instruments is specifically conceived and created for the realization of our particular role to play in this period of transformation. And so turning our attention to value what's here, instead of, you know, wishing that you had something that somebody else has, because that's not playing to your strengths. It's so important. So vive la différence. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Nicely, but you know, I tried.
I thought you did a very good job.
Oh, I thank you very much.
You did.
Yes.
Have you ever done a class where somebody who was an angel, Pepe, was an angel, what they considered to be, I know all about angels. There's nothing new you can tell me, but I want to take your class so you can, you know, I can see what you know, and, you know, if it works with my stuff. And a skeptic, but not a skeptic. Like they thought that there was nothing for them to learn, but they just wanted to take your class just to see if they, you know, if they could correct you on it, for lack of a better way of putting it.
Yeah, I've been really fortunate in attracting mostly people that were not knuckleheads, but And in fact, when I started teaching, I said, okay, don't send me any knuckleheads until I'm ready to handle it diplomatically.
Yeah.
And they didn't. So when the first person like that showed up after a couple of years, I'm like, oh, that's good. That must mean I'm able to handle it now. But effectively, once we go into the energy, that gets transformed. And so I bring my classes into the energy immediately, so that the magic is happening individually, and wherever you are on your path, there's an opening that occurs that's very powerful. And so I've had people come in that way, and there's a funny story, but I had them, and then there's a transformation that happens during the class. The class is a couple of days. I once had this couple. Well, first of all, they come in, and it's an older couple. They come in and they said, "Oh, are you the person who wrote this book?" And I'm like, "No." And they said, "Well, we thought you were." I'm like, "Well, are you going to come in or not?" So they came in, and they're taking notes, and they're taking fastidious notes the whole day, the whole first day. And I'm like, "Oh, that's very impressive." He wasn't too keen on being in the class, but he's, taking, that's great. At the end of the day, comes up to me, and the monsieur says to me, "Well, I was an editor for many years, and so I have a gift for you. That is, I took the notes to correct your French, all of the errors I had made in the day, all of the French mistakes." And he handed it to me, and I'm like, "Oh, you guys are good." So that's the one.
Were
that
you
comes
drinking
to mind.
coffee at that time?
I was so diplomatic, but I mean, I just laughed. It was hilarious.
You can't not, because I think people like that are put into our paths to just, so like it's a moment for you to laugh at, for you to say it sort of makes us go, you know what? Thank you. I appreciate what you did for me. That's such a gift. And then you can toss that sucker in the trash, whatever you want to do with it. But there's that moment where you just kind of like,
I would have read it.
Thank you.
No, you didn't read it?
I did thank him. Because it was a gift he thought he was giving from the heart. And it also showed me how much I had already evolved, because I didn't defend myself in that moment. I did come to the conclusion that my classes are not French classes. And so after that, for a while, my French has gotten much better. This was like at the beginning. But after a while, I would say things like, "So I'm going to make some French errors during this class. You're going to understand me. I'm very understandable. If it's ever not the case, stop me. But I invite you to forgive me in advance for any errors that I make."
French is not my mother tongue, but I can get by.
Who's perfect?
Yeah.
Who's perfect?
No. And now they're just like, "Oh, but your accent, it's so cute." I love that.
We gotta answer this question here. Do you think sometimes angels come in the form of a loved one in dreams? I like that question.
I will be a little bit, I'm going to change the question a little bit. I think loved ones come in the form of loved ones in dreams. And those loved ones are past and watching over us. And so some people would also call them angels. Yeah, I would say maybe a guide. But absolutely our loved ones come in dreams. Yeah, and thank God for that.
We have a blocked person in the, you did that?
Oh.
Love stream here.
Something happened.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, through our whole life, we have, guardians who watch over us. Like, we have our spirit guides, we have our spirit animal guides, we have our angels, we have our archangels. There are hierarchies, realms, and all these different things. And it's like, it's comforting to know that you have all these.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And
you're alone.
And you're attracted to the exactly what you need in the moment.
Yes.
So whether it's the butterfly or the fox or the dolphin, or whether it's Mother Mary or Buddha, or whether it's mom or grandma or grandpa or whatever, the angels of the earth, the fairies. This accompaniment can become more and more tangible, and it just makes for such a joyful. You know, I spent a lot of time on my own here on this island with pelicans and dolphins this winter. And my sister was like, "You're going to be there 2 months all by yourself? That's a little crazy." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm all by myself."
Yeah.
Really, I'm all by myself, and it's
Not quite alone when I'm by myself.
No, not even a little. And
maybe
so,
not human form, but trust me, even a human form vacation is like, oh, like today's day was like, oh, I'm not a person. My dog, my cat, they sat on the bed and they were like, eh. Then I cranked up the TV and they were like, oh shit, let's leave. I was like, okay. Once they left, I was like, turn it down. I was like, oh, seriously,
peaceful. Just a pause. Put everything on pause. Absolutely. Yeah. But isn't it wonderful when we have them come and visit us in dreams? Yeah. And do you
think animals come? Angels come in animal form.
I would call animals masters. So the answer basically would be yes. So an angel, the definition I use for an angel is an expression of source. That angels are not intermediaries between us and God or source, but rather how God would extend the hand down into the density to make it easier for us to connect. And so since animals take on physical form and angels do not, I wouldn't necessarily put the label on them. But to me, animals are a direct expression of source, pure and absolutely always around us. It's always a soul contract. It's always uplifting. And the only times animals are not pure is when they've been impacted by human energetics, human energy. But their natural state is pure love. So in that sense, in that very real sense, absolutely, animals are angels. I think they are masters. You know, it's not the other way around.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
Gina had an amazing puppy. She didn't have a couple there. She's also the Bob. But sorry, love you, Bob. But she had Lacey, and Lacey was spoiled, loved, held. This dog had a chair at the kitchen table.
How wonderful is that?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
You know, and the thing is, when Gina would like stress out for whatever reason, she would sit there and pet Lacey, and you could just see the go away. See, there's her puppy wing.
There you go. Yeah.
And so it's
such a gift.
They are our gifts. I truly believe that they are sent to us, whether you want to call them an angel, a master, they're sent to us for a reason.
Always.
Angels, always a cat.
Always. Yeah. I would say they're always soul contracts. They're always supposed to be there around us. And if we allow it, they can bring us more into alignment with love.
Okay, I just realized something. Thank you for saying that. When I was a child, I had a Chihuahua. It was given to me. It lived in a house with 2 Dobermans, and the Chihuahua never got to eat. So it was given to me, and I had his name was Killer, and I had Killer for like 3 months. He would sleep on my pillow. My mother would come in to check on me, and she would have to say, "It's okay, Killer. It's just mommy." But my dog Onyx is pretty much the same way. You know, he will sleep on my pillow. He doesn't like to snuggle into me, but he knows when, it's not so good today, so he'll come and sit with you. So I think that in respects that Killer only survived 3 years because 3 months because he was so maltreated and I've always that was my first dog. And I always thought very highly of him. I thought, I missed him. Let's put it this way. When they had to put him down, I, for the very first time, swore in front of my mother because I cussed out the vet for having to do it to him.
Oh, wow. How old were you?
I think I was about 10, maybe.
Yeah, you were just a little girl.
Yeah.
But
sensitive. Like, those words just flew out of my mouth. My mother kind of looked at me like, yeah, I did. He's killing my dogs. It's like,
She gave you a pass.
Even with losing Lacey, it's like she was sending me signs right away.
Oh God, yes.
Even food, right? I would step on it. and be like, God. But I was so upset, just so upset. And I'm just like, oh, I just need a sign that you're still here. And then I get up and I step on a piece of her food, you know?
Beautiful.
And I vacuum, I'm OCD.
Beautiful.
You know?
And right after you asked,
Yes.
you know, well, that's just like, I'm going to have to make this real clear.
Yeah, it's like, Mom, I'm here, but since you can't hear me, I'll let you step on my nipple.
The first piece was her food had the regular food that she liked, the little life bits that she didn't. I'd mix it with wet food, and she'd spit out the little life bits. That was the first thing I stepped on because they were hard. She didn't like chewing them. Right? That was it. So I was like, okay, I got you. You know, a little zing to mama, I got your life bit.
Absolutely.
Next one, and I have all these things in a drawer. So then there was a few different pieces of her regular food that she left, and then one of the little tiny bones she left in one of them too. I'm like, where are you finding these things? I'm just like, I don't understand because I vacuum everything. I pull everything under the bed. I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Great love.
Right when I get out of bed, there, and she'd sleep up on the bed with me, and then when she couldn't really jump up and down good, she would sleep just right there. You know, that if I was to get up in the middle of the night, say to go pee, I would have to scooch down the bed, not to step on Lacey, not to wake her up, you know. So that was her spot, you know. So she has her spots, but you know, I know that they are still definitely with us. They are, you know, so they like our loved ones can come back as a guide. So they
Absolutely
come back as a guide for us,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And just knowing that calmed me so much.
Yeah.
Doesn't it make the veil thinner? Doesn't it confirm that there's an after?
Yes.
And so in that so I'm talking to you, but in that, doesn't that diminish the fear of dying that so often keeps people from living?
Yes.
So
there you go.
Yeah.
There you
Very
go.
much so.
Couldn't have said it any better.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. You know, they're so afraid of dying that they're too afraid to live. But
That's right.
But the fox is that guardian between the realms. That's its job.
Perfect.
You know, so it's like, you know, it will tell you if it's safe to go or not. You know, it will block you. It will stay in front of you if there's danger, and then it will sit back and let you pass or let it pass to you if it's okay. Can angels come in dreams?
Absolutely. Angels will access us in ways that we can receive them. And for many people, clairvoyance begins in dreams because that's the in between here and there space that we consider safe, and the censure of the head that wants to, you know, say poo-poo anything that's spiritual or invisible is not activated if it's in a dream. So dreams, we're very accessible in dreams, and angels will absolutely. Some people go to school, the angel school in dreams, or have experiences in other places, other realms.
Some people they go to the Akashic records in dreams because that's that's your human mind when you're in REM sleep. Stop thinking of your daily routines, your day-to-days, all the things that, you know, prohibit you from experiencing that, or to get to that higher vibration that you need to see, hear, feel, sense, whatever, that spirit realm. And because you're thinking, oh my God, I got to go get Johnny at school, and I got to go to work, and I got to pay this bill, and oh my God, my light's going to get shut off. It's like panic all day long, boom, 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 boom. And that's the same thing as you're just going to sleep. But when you're in REM sleep, that's all gone. So what's left? You in that thin veil in the spirit realm. So that's when you're going to get communicated with. That's when people can get a message to you. That's when you can do things. That's when astral projection happens. That's where a lot of things happen in that lucid dreaming. And there's a lot. That's like a whole nother show.
Absolutely. And a lot of people do, I'm sure you've had people talk to you about this or perhaps experienced it. A lot of people say, well, Kathryn, I don't get it. Every night at about 3 or 4 a.m., I'm like a shot wide awake. And what the heck is that about? Because, well, our first reaction is, oh, I'm going to be tired tomorrow. Well, guess what? Not necessarily. Just say, okay, I'm available. I'm available for you, but just make sure I'm not tired tomorrow. And it works like a pearl. So passing that along. But that's when the veil is thin and we actually can align. So it usually happens when people are already in a space where they're accepting interactions. But yeah, a lot of people going through that these days because the Great Awakening, as I'm calling it, is we're in the thick of it.
Also, when you're going to sleep, you can put that message out there too. You know, like if you're really tired and you don't want to get up, say, please don't bother me tonight. But if you're ready to receive, you know, just say, hey, okay, tonight's the night, right? If you're going to communicate with me, then tonight's the night. But always have pen, paper, book, journal, whatever next to you.
Beautiful.
So that you can write down the things right when you wake up.
Yeah, our free will is absolutely respected in that regard. So that's a very good helpful hint. Absolutely.
Is there a crystal that can relate to like that would be a good thing to amplify that you can put next to your bed, you know, that communication mode? Like what would be a good thing?
So a couple of crystals come to mind. There's never really just one that would work. As you were answering the question, and somebody mentioned it earlier, the angel aura crystal is really excellent for specific to angelic communication, but amplification in general, a crystal quartz is just really the best, because I mean that's its function. It's used in radios for that function, and so I absolutely sleep with a crystal quartz next to my bed, and I usually set a clear intention before I go to sleep for that very purpose.
Intention is everything.
A Herkimer diamond could also serve very well this purpose. Absolutely, under the pillow.
I don't got one of those.
Yeah,
you gotta come.
They are a bit dear, but they are so worth it.
Yeah, they're worth it. I had you know, I teach in the house, and somebody mistook it for a regular crystal and it left. But
oh no,
so they are small. So you know, when you get one, it's a good. I learned my lesson to really take good care of them. Or as Mama D was showing us, why not put it on so that it can be warm? That's a really good idea. That way you don't lose sight of it. But Herkimer is great for that also. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we are at 10 o'clock, so we don't want to keep you too long here.
How did that happen? Wow.
I know, right? 2 hours goes by like that.
I was like 2 hours. That's past my bedtime.
I love it.
What can I talk about for 2 hours? We'll figure it out. That's why I say this show is about us getting to know each other. And we have people in the chat room eavesdropping and adding their little 2 cents. Beautiful. But when you don't think about it, when you're sharing your heart's passion, and then there's the little squirrels that come in, and everything weaves together, that it just flies by.
Really. And it has been such a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh,
it's been our pleasure.
We would love to have you back on.
Rock and roll. Anytime, girls. I love it.
Did you say the next book is coming out in October?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I'm booking now July, August. July. Yeah, okay. So
hello. We can be your advertisement for your books here in another program.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
When the book comes out in October.
Cool. And the other thing is, I could send you the Inviting Angels into Your Life if you wanted to talk about that at some point.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. We are so 100% about getting books and going, oh, yes. Okay, we're going to put her in. There you go.
Love you guys. This is
so great.
I
love you. You are awesome. You're fantastic. Thank you so much for being with us. And guys, remember, next week, all right, it's going to be Ask Me, Ask Mama D, and Ask Athena. Anything you want to know.
Yeah. How did we get here? How did I meet her? Do I have any other secrets I want to spill about her?
Good stuff.
She's gonna send this girl to attack me.
Maybe my video. Okay, here's my video. All right, so we're gonna say goodnight. Hang with us for a minute, Kathryn. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So good night, everybody. Thank you so much.
Good night.
Please share the show. If you love us, go to the YouTube channel.
Y'all behave yourselves. If you
hit the notification button.
Yes.
All right. So ciao for now. We love you.
Thank you again for joining us for another episode in the Fox Den. We're here every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you a variety of guests, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and our anchor venues. We would love it if you would go to our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, and please subscribe, share, and definitely hit the notification button to never miss a show. We'll see you all next week, and subscribers, watch for our pop-up shows as well.